Hi, happy Friday. I'm Jennifer from the Somerset County Family Community Health Sciences, and we're here in my kitchen today talking about heart-healthy portion sizes. We're going to talk about getting enough servings and looking at our portion sizes. Why is that so important? When you control the portions that you're eating, you're controlling your calorie intake, which is going to affect your weight management, your blood sugar. It's going to affect your digestion and overall energy. So let's take a look at regular foods we eat and how much we should be getting. So we'll start low and then we'll go higher. So some things like condiments, like a peanut butter. If anyone is watching live, how much is a serving of a peanut butter? A tablespoon. So that would be about this size, which equals a tablespoon. Okay, whether you are eating it on top of an apple, which is a great healthy snack, putting it on a slice of bread, a tablespoon is one serving. So after watching this, I think you're going to be a little bit more mindful, taking a look at labels to check serving sizes. So that's a tablespoon of peanut butter. Now, half of a cup, so a tablespoon is also the size of about a ping pong ball. All right, so I have some visuals here. So a half a cup, this is our half a cup, and that would be half a cup of chopped vegetables, whether it's cooked or raw, like broccoli or string beans or peas. Here is a small cucumber, okay? If you're having pasta or rice, that's a half a cup. So that would be about that size of a serving, okay? And if you want a visual, it's half the size of a baseball, not a whole baseball, half, okay? Now cheese, we all love cheese, but cheese can be very high in fat content. So we need to be mindful of how much cheese we're getting. It's recommended that one serving is 1.5 ounces, okay? So that can be one of your string cheeses. That can be a slice of cheese or a cube of cheese. How does that relate to a visual? 3 dominoes. So if you stacked 3 dominoes, that's a serving of cheese. And I know cheese can be really delicious and we, cut another piece and cut another piece, but that's a serving. 1 slice or 1 cube. Okay, let's move on to a cup. So a cup, you're gonna see a lot of these will be cup servings. That is the size of a baseball. Now that's the size of a small or medium fruit. Okay, like a Macintosh apple, an orange. If you have something larger like a grapefruit, that's half of a grapefruit, or if you have like a cup of berries, a cup of grapes, a cup of fruit salad. So that would be a serving of fruit, or it can be a cup of 100% fruit juice. So make sure your label says 100% orange or cranberry juice. Now for protein, okay, here's a piece of grilled chicken. Now, you can go this 2 ways. Hold up your palm. It can fit into the palm of your hand. That's the portion size. Or it equals a deck of cards. So this is a really great visual. Many Americans don't get enough protein. And then sometimes we eat too much at one serving. We want that nice big piece of steak. Or we go to a restaurant and we eat the whole plate. So just be mindful of the portions, and you can eat 1 chicken breast and then take the other chicken breast home and have it the next day for lunch, because it takes a while for our brain to know that we're full also. So it takes about 20 minutes. So if we're eating and it's so good and we're eating too much of a portion, our brain is not going to realize that we're full, and then we don't feel good. So, so keep that in mind. Deck of cards or the palm of your hand. Now for bread, okay, grains. 1 serving is a slice of bread. So when you have a sandwich, you're having 2 servings of grain. Now we're going to talk about my plate in a minute, and you want to try to focus on whole grains when you can. And how many in a day should we get? We should get about 10 ounces. 10 ounces of grain for men, 7 to 8 ounces of grains for girls or women. Okay, so 1 slice of bread equals an English muffin. So both sides of an English muffin, that's about the size. Okay, so let's put this into real life. Say you're having a bowl of cereal And I know many of us don't actually measure out the serving, right? We just pour it in there. So if I look on my cereal, it says 1 cup of Cheerios. I'm going to grab a smaller bowl because that's another trick that you can help in your portion control, right? I have a big bowl and a small bowl. We're gonna measure out what 1 cup is. Okay, here we go. 1 cup of cereal. Okay, but 1 cup. And that's a nice breakfast. But if you want a balanced plate, right, you can add your 1/2 cup of berries to this, or 1 small banana, and then you're getting your servings of fruit because we want to go for 2 a day of fruit. But if I put this 1 cup into a larger bowl, oh, that looks small, right? And then we have the tendency to fill the bowl up and we may be having 2 servings. So then when you're looking, okay, it's not just 140 calories. Now we've doubled that to 280 calories because the bowl was big. So be mindful of the bowls that you're using. Snacks, okay, a bag of pretzels is about 19 of these little mini pretzels. Put them in a small bowl. That's a really decent snack, right? Or if you're traveling and you're on the go, you're packing lunch for the kids, 19 pretzels equal about half the Ziploc bag, okay? Not the full Ziploc bag, half the Ziploc bag. So just, you can play with this in your home with the foods that you use and checking your labels. The other thing is nuts. Okay, so a serving of almonds is 1/4 of a cup. So this is 1/4 of a cup, 1/4 of a cup of almonds. You get about 23 almonds. Great source of protein, great snack on the go. Depends on what nut you're having. Pistachios will give you about 49 pistachios equal 1 ounce, okay? So you eat a little bit more. So it depends on the nut that you're also having. So just some ideas for snacks on the go. Oh, the other thing I had over here were leafy greens. So for your vegetables, it's either 1/2 cup or 2 cups of leafy greens. And this is how much, that's a nice salad. And you can add, some cherry tomatoes, get your rainbow so that you're getting all your nutrients. So I want to hold up my plate. So remember MyPlate, and you can go to myplate.gov for all this information. Serving sizes matter if you're male or female and your age. Of course, teens and adults can have a larger serving. But here we have our dairy, which would be your 1 cup of milk, your 1 slice of cheese, 1.5 ounces. You want to go for 3 servings a day of dairy, whether it's a milk, a yogurt, and a cheese. You hit that, right? And then we have fruits, 2 servings, vegetables, go for 3 servings. And here's a really easy way. You have your 1/2 a plate visual, or just go for a high 5. Did you get your 5 servings of fruits and vegetables in a day? Protein, you want to go for lean protein like your chicken, your turkey, your lean cuts of meat, or plant-based, you can use nuts and seeds and beans, which are great sources of protein. Beans, you want to have 1/4 of a cup. That's a serving. Okay, and then of course your grains, you want to go for the whole grain so that you're getting more vitamins and more fiber. And you can stick with that for, like I said before, about 10 ounces, no more than 10 ounces for men, and about 7 to 8 for girls and women, right? Because a lot of times we tend to be carb heavy. So watch the type, go for the whole grains, and just watch the ounces that you're eating. So I hope this is helpful. Another tip, if you really are interested in kind of looking at your sizes, you can get these little handy scales at home. My husband uses that when he measures things out. So just try that for a challenge or homework over the weekend. Pay attention to your serving sizes. Get out some of your measure cups, get out your tablespoons and teaspoons, and see how your plate and how your bowls measure up, right? Have a wonderful weekend.